Hello and welcome back. I think that you have already learned a little bit about DSL, so it's time to put all of that knowledge in practice, and we're going to recreate the Ansible users DB that we created manually, and we're going to create this using DSL. So we want to know the configuration options that we need, so let's click on configure, and based on this configuration, we're going to start creating our DSL file. So let's go to our terminal, and I will leave you a file which is an Ansible template, and you have all the things that you have been learning and a couple more. So don't worry, because we're going to be explaining everything. So okay, let's go to the first line, job. This is cool. We need to change this name. How we want to name this job? In this case, the name is Ansible users DB. So let's call it like Ansible users DSL or something like that, or exactly the same name. So let's say Ansible users DB, and we're going to say dash DSL to differentiate that job. Cool. We don't have any description in here, but let's add a new description. So our new job will have a description like update the HTML table based on the input, something like that. Now let's go to our job, and we're going to see that the first thing that we need to define is a parameter. So we need to say that this project is parameterized, and we need to add a choice parameter with a name of age and these options. So let's take a look to our file. We don't want this string parameter, so we're going to delete this. We don't want any boolean parameter, so let's delete this. And we do want a choice parameter, which is this choice parameter. Okay, so let's start modifying this. The name should be age, as you can see here, and the choices are going to be 21, 22, 23, so on. So let's go ahead and modify this. We're going to say 21, 22, 23, 24. So now we have our choice parameter in place. That's good. Let's see what else we need. We don't need any source code management, so let's keep scrolling down, and we need colors. So let's look in here in the documentation how we can add colors. So let's look for color, and you can see this colorized output, which is exactly this that says colorized console output. And if you see here, this is how we should define that colorized output, and then we define xterm, and this is exactly the option that we're defining in here. So if we take a look to our file, well, we don't need this, so we're going to delete this SCM. We don't need triggers, so let's delete the triggers. And in the steps, as you can see, we're passing that colorized output color map xterm, which comes from the documentation, and this is how you use it. You pass the wrappers, and then you pass the colorized output